We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Gaza ceasefire talks in Cairo stall without progress as Hamas rejects new Israeli conditions. US says it will continue to work to avert escalation after Israel-Hezbollah missile exchange. Ukraine claims Belarus concentrating personnel weaponry along Ukrainian border, calls on Minsk to pull back forces from border. The second round of India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable to begin in Singapore. Various aspects of strategic partnership and issues of mutual interest will be discussed at the meeting. And Janmashtami, the birthday of Lord Krishna, is being celebrated with religious fervour. President of India Draupadi Murmu extends greetings on the auspicious occasion. And on to the details now. The efforts to bring peace in West Asia have failed yet again. In Cairo, ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas ended without any agreement on Sunday, casting doubt on the chances of success in the latest US-led effort to end the 10th-month-old conflict, also backed by Egypt and Qatar. Neither the terrorist group Hamas nor Israel agreed to several compromises presented by the mediators, though talks were described as constructive and conducted in a spirit on all sides to reach a final and implementable agreement. The talks will still continue over the coming days through working groups to further address remaining issues and details. Key sticking points in ongoing talks include an Israeli presence in the Philadelphia corridor, which is a narrow 14.5-kilometer long stretch of land along Gaza's southern border with Egypt. Israel wants to permanently control the Philadelphia corridor, which it seized after October 7th attack. Hamas is sticking to a July 2nd Gaza ceasefire proposal while rejecting new Israeli conditions for a ceasefire. Hamas reiterated its demand that any agreement must stipulate a permanent ceasefire and a full Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. And in one of the biggest clashes in more than 10 months of border warfare, Lebanon-based group Hezbollah launched hundreds of rockets and drones on Sunday morning. Israel's military responded and struck targets in Lebanon with around 100 fighter jets to thwart a bigger attack. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that strikes against Hezbollah are not the end of the story.
In major escalation in Middle East, Lebanon-based group Hezbollah launched hundreds of rockets and drones at Israel early on Sunday, while Israel launched strikes in Lebanon. Missiles were visible curling up through the dawn sky as an air raid siren sounded in Israel and a distant blast lit the horizon. Hezbollah said it had fired 320 Katyusha rockets towards Israel and hit 11 military targets, while Israel's military said it struck Lebanon with around 100 jets to thwart a bigger attack.
Most of our activity at the moment is in southern Lebanon, but we will attack anywhere in Lebanon where there is a threat to the state of Israel.
Footage released by Israel's defense ministry showed Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu watching on as Israeli jets launched strikes in Lebanon early on Sunday. Netanyahu said that military intercepted all the drones that Hezbollah launched at a strategic target in central Israel. Netanyahu also said that Israel would take all measures necessary to defend itself.
What happened today is not the end of the story. Hezbollah tried to attack the state of Israel with rockets and drones early in the morning. We instructed the IDF to carry out a powerful preemptive strike to remove the threat. The IDF destroyed thousands of short-range rockets. All of them were intended to harm our citizens and our forces in the Galilee. In addition, the IDF intercepted all the UAVs that Hezbollah launched at a strategic target in the center of the country.
Israel's army also released video, it said, showed its chief of staff, Herzi Halevi, overseeing military operations from an underground operations center in Tel Aviv on Sunday. On the other hand, in Lebanon, cabinet ministers and officials held a session of the National Emergency Committee in Beirut at caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati's house. Lebanon's caretaker economy minister Amin Salam said that the situation now relied on outcome of Gaza ceasefire talks in Cairo. Expectations of an escalation between the two sides had risen since a missile strike in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights last month, and Israeli military assassinated Shukr in Beirut in response. Latest escalation between Hezbollah and Israel caused delay of flights in the region. Departing flights at Israel's Ben Gurion airport were delayed on Sunday morning, stranding worried travelers amidst ongoing rocket barrages being fired by Hezbollah. While travelers at Beirut Rafik Hariri Airport found themselves stranded on Sunday as some flights were cancelled. Air France too has cancelled its flights to Tel Aviv and Beirut until at least Monday. Israel's biggest municipality shut down its Mediterranean beaches as tourists and local residents said they were taking precautions in the wake of evolving situation in the region. Sunday strikes came as negotiators were meeting in Cairo in a last-ditch effort to conclude a halt to the fighting in Gaza. Fuzail Ahmed reporting for DD India.
Well, White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the U.S. is working to avert an escalation of conflict in the Middle East following a recent exchange of strikes between Israel and Hezbollah. He was speaking at a news conference in Halifax in Canada. Sullivan further said that U.S. has remained in contact with its Israeli counterparts to share how the U.S. sees the situation. He said the United States is still working in Cairo towards reaching a ceasefire deal in Gaza.
We have been concerned about the conflict escalating into an all-out regional war since October 7th, and we have worked round the clock with partners and allies, moving military assets, engaging in intensive diplomacy, both publicly and privately behind the scenes, to avert that outcome. We continue to work to avert that outcome. And our hope is that the events of last night do not spill out into an escalation that leads to regional war.
And updates on Ukraine-Russia conflict. Now, Ukraine has alleged that Belarus armed forces are concentrating a significant number of personnel and weaponry along Ukrainian northern border under the guise of exercises. Ukraine's foreign ministry said Minsk is concentrating special operation forces as well as weaponry, including tanks, artillery, multiple launch rocket systems and air defense systems near the Belarusian city of Gomel. The city lies within about 30 kilometers of the Belarus-Ukraine border. Further, Kyiv called on to Minsk to immediately withdraw forces away from Ukraine's border. As per Kyiv Independent, the Belarusian army is not currently directly involved in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine's forces have advanced up to 3 kilometers in Russia's Kursk region, taking control of 2 more settlements. While Ukraine says Russia launched several missiles and drones overnight targeting parts of northern and eastern Ukraine, Russia says it continues to fight against the Ukrainian incursion of its Kursk region, while at least 6 civilians got killed in Ukrainian attacks in Russia's Belgorod region. All that as Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said he would support India hosting the 2nd summit on peace as Kyiv hopes to find a host among the countries in the global south. Disha Chernyshova has more from Moscow on this.
Russia says it continues to strike the Ukrainian military in its Kursk region as well as in Ukraine's border areas. The MOD reported on Sunday that it repelled the Ukrainian attacks on the direction of Komarovka, Malaya Lokhnya, Nechayev and Cherkasskaya Porechny in the Kursk region. It also continues the reconnaissance and search operations to identify and destroy Ukrainian groups in the area. Meanwhile, the Russian troops struck Ukraine's military and manpower in the Sumy region. The MOD says Ukraine lost 300 troops in the Kursk region over the past 24 hours, bringing the total number of the military casualties over 5,800. The head of Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov, said that the fighters of the Ahmad Chechnya regiment evacuated 51 conscripts from the combat zone in the village of Ulan in the Kursk region. The defense ministry also said that it sent reinforcements to the Kursk grouping of troops. Meanwhile, more than 340 people were evacuated from the 5 districts of the Kursk region to safe territories, according to the Russian Emergencies Ministry. In neighboring Belgorod region, a man died as a result of a Ukrainian drone attack, and 5 others got killed in another attack on the village of Rakitne. Russia also says that it struck the temporary deployment positions of foreign mercenaries in Ukraine. Dasha Cherneshova in Moscow, reporting for DD India.
Well, at least 21 people, including 11 children, were killed by drone strikes on Sunday in the town of Tinzouaten in the northern region of Mali, Tuareg rebels reported. The town, located near the Algerian border, came under drone attack again on Sunday. A spokesperson for a rebel coalition known as the Strategic Framework for the Defense of the People of Azawad said in a statement. The strikes targeted a pharmacy and gatherings of people, causing a provisional death toll of 21 civilians, including 11 children and the pharmacy manager. Dozens more were injured and there was several material damage. The CSA-DPA blamed Mali's army and Wagner mercenaries and said neighboring Burkina Faso operated the drone. The fighting near Tinzouaten in late July could be Wagner's heaviest defeat since it stepped in 2 years ago to help Mali's junta fight insurgent group. And the Telegram messaging application said on Sunday that its founder, Pavel Durov, had nothing to hide and that it was absurd to hold an owner responsible for abuse of the platform. Telegram issued a statement on its platform and on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying the Dubai-based company abides by European laws, including the Digital Services Act, and that Durov has nothing to hide. It is absurd to claim that a platform or its owner are responsible for abuse of that platform, according to the statement. We are awaiting a prompt resolution of this situation. Well, Africa will receive its first batch of mpox vaccines this week. The continent has faced significant delays in receiving vaccines, and mpox outbreaks surged to global attention as the World Health Organization and its African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention declared it a public health emergency. Leon Steininger reports for more.
10,000 vaccines will be used to tackle a dangerous Clade 1B, a new variant of mpox. The vaccines were donated by the United States. Nigeria and the Democratic Republic of Congo will be the first African countries to receive the vaccines after they granted regulatory approval. International agencies have come under fire for failure to provide the continent with the mpox vaccines, which have already been distributed to over 70 countries outside Africa. The recent mpox outbreak was declared a global health emergency after the new variant began to spread from the Democratic Republic of Congo into neighboring African countries. Since January, the Democratic Republic of Congo has reported over 27,000 suspected cases and 1,100 deaths, mostly among children. Leon Senyange reporting from Kampala, Uganda for DD India.
And news from around the world now. In the Netherlands, thousands of people gathered to celebrate their red hair at the annual Red Hair Days festival in the southern town of Tilburg. More than 10,000 people from over half a dozen countries attended the 3-day festival, signing up for photo shoots and a variety of workshops. The event in 2013 set a Guinness World Record for the largest gathering of people with natural red hair. Over 4,000 people joined a protest against the far right in Erfurt, Germany on Sunday, with state elections in the state of Thuringia 1 week away. Protesters in Thuringia's capital fear a landslide victory of the far right Alternative for Germany, who's leading in the polls. Many of the protest signs and protesters referenced the head of Thuringia's AfD, Bojan Hoke. Residents of Porticello paid tributes to British tech magnate Mike Lynch and 6 other people who were killed when a luxury yacht sank in stormy weather off Sicily this week. 15 people survived, including owner Lynch's wife, whose company owned the Bayesian, and the yacht's captain. Mike Lynch was one of the UK's best-known tech entrepreneurs and had invited friends to join him on the yacht to celebrate his acquittal in June in the US fraud trial. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Brazil's foreign minister to co-chair 9th India-Brazil Joint Commission meet in India. It will further strengthen the strategic partnership between the two countries. Ahead of upcoming assembly elections in India's Jammu and Kashmir, PM Modi attended Bharatiya Janata Party's Central Election Committee meet in New Delhi. And world-renowned sand sculptor Doordarshan Patnaik created a beautiful sand art with a message of kill the evil on Janmashtami. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lapakshi Khurana, and moving on, the second round of India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable will take place in Singapore today. The Indian ministers participating in the event will include Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw. The ministers will interact with their counterparts and will also call on Singaporean leadership. The India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable is a unique mechanism established to set a new agenda for India-Singapore bilateral relations. Meeting aims to enable both sides to review various aspects of their strategic partnership and identify new avenues to further elevate and broaden it. And India's Minister for Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal, met with the CEO of Infrastructure at Global Asset Manager, Cindy Lim, and Executive Vice President and Head of Asia Pacific of Pension Fund, OMA's Ashish Goyal, in Singapore. On social media platform X, Piyush Goyal stated that India is an attractive investment destination and invited them to be a part of India's development journey. And Foreign Minister of Brazil, Mauro Vieira, arrived in New Delhi on Sunday on a 4-day visit to India. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and his Brazilian counterpart will co-chair the 9th India-Brazil Joint Commission meeting. The meeting, scheduled for Tuesday, aims to further strengthen the strategic partnership between the two nations. The ministers will also discuss how the two countries as Troika can advance key G20 outcomes from the Indian presidency last year. Brazilian Foreign Minister's visit will provide an opportunity to further strengthen the strategic partnership established in 2006 and explore new avenues of cooperation in bilateral, regional and multilateral arenas across diverse borders. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the meeting of the BJP Central Election Committee at party headquarters in New Delhi. The meeting was held ahead of upcoming assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir. Besides Prime Minister, other BJP leaders who attended the meet included BJP President Jagat Prakash Nadda, Union Minister Amit Shah and Jitendra Singh and other senior leaders of the party. Now let's take a look at other stories making news today. The Chief Minister of North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, laid the foundation stone for various projects for the development of Mathura ahead of Janmashtami festival. The festival is celebrated in a grand way in Mathura and Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna spent his youth and childhood. India's Home Minister Amit Shah planted a sapling under Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam campaign during his ongoing visit to the central Indian state of Chhattisgarh. The campaign was launched on the occasion of World Environment Day by Indian Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Indian government approved the Bio E3 policy, biotechnology for economy, environment and employment. It is aimed at fostering high-performance biomanufacturing. The policy is designed to supplement traditional supply methods with biotechnological solutions. And on to sports news now. Sweden's Mondo Duplantis once again broke his own pole vault world record as he cleared 6.26 meters at the second attempt at the Silesia Diamond League meeting on Sunday. Duplantis broke the world record for the 10th time, beating the 6.25 meters he cleared when retaining his Olympic gold medal in Paris earlier this month. Also, this was the third time this year he had broken his own record. Meanwhile, the crowd had already witnessed Norwegian Jakob Ingebrigtsen shatter the long-standing 3,000 meters world record with a time of 7 minutes 17.55 seconds to beat the record set by Kenya's Daniel Komen in 1996. The 23-year-old was in shock when he crossed the line and looked at his time. And the 2024 Paralympic Games torch reached France by the Channel Tunnel on Sunday. The torch relay began earlier on Saturday in Stoke Mandeville in England, where the event was first imagined by neurologist Ludwig Guttmann in 1948. On Sunday, British athletes carried the torch midway through the Channel Tunnel before handing over to French competitors who crossed over to Calais in the host country. The flame will make its way to Paris, where it will be used to light the Paralympic cauldron during the opening ceremony on Wednesday. And Janmashtami, the birthday celebration of Lord Krishna, is being celebrated with religious fervour and gaiety across the world. Temples across the country decked up as devotees are flocking to the well-decorated temples to celebrate the festival of joy. It is believed that Lord Krishna, the 8th incarnation of Lord Vishnu, was born on the 8th day of the dark fortnight in the month of Bhadrapad as per the Hindu calendar. The day holds a deep spiritual significance for the devotees world over. The festival is not just a time for celebration but also for reflection and remembering Lord Krishna's timeless teachings. Devotees celebrate it by chanting Krishna's name, singing devotional songs and reading his teachings in the holy Bhagavad Gita. Janmashtami is a reminder of Lord Krishna's teachings, emphasizing the importance of righteousness, duty, love and devotion in one's life and the victory of good over evil. Well, President of India, Draupadi Murmu, has extended greetings and best wishes to all citizens living in the country and abroad on the auspicious occasion of Janmashtami. The President in a message said, and I quote, "This festival of joy inspires us to dedicate ourselves to the divine ideals of Bhagwan Shri Krishna. On this occasion, let us imbibe the teachings of Bhagwan Shri Krishna and resolve to work for the progress and prosperity of the country," unquote. And world-renowned sculptor Doordarshan has created a beautiful sand art with a message of kill the evil on the auspicious occasion of Krishna Janmashtami. Take a look. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news after the breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.